Today is Monday, October 6th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zorie and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning, lady.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, and you? You had
I
a
don't
rough
know how
night,
to answer
huh?
that. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a really, really tough weekend. Really tough.
Is this a friend that has cancer, or was this a different friend?
Oh, I've got that too. Friend is dying of cancer, and now I've got another friend who's in the hospital too. So, and,
Boy,
and my dog,
oh no.
she's having a real hard time. She
Wow.
she was up coughing all night long, and I can't let her continue to do this. Her heart has swollen up. It's like it's enlarged, and it's pushing against her esophagus, so she can't swallow correctly.
Oh,
Yeah, she's having a really. I don't know if she's gonna be able to last the.
oh man, I know how that is. I had put my pet down last year, and you just don't get over it right away.
I had to do that with my one dog, my 5-year-old, last year in November, and now I have to do that with the older one here. So,
I know I don't handle it well. I swore no more pets after the last one, and here I have another cat.
oh, jeez. Yeah, I won't have, I'm not gonna have pets for a while. I mean, there's so many abused pit bulls out there, and
Hmm.
I just feel so bad. And I just think of them all, like, especially in the dead of winter when it's below freezing out, that there's just tons of them just chained to, like, a stupid little doghouse with these big giant toe chains around their necks, and they're out in the cold with no shelter. Oh, it just makes me sick. But
Yeah,
I just can't do it anymore, really.
and it's a sign of the civilization that how they treat animals, and look at how horrible we are with them.
I know, that's what Gandhi
You know,
said.
yeah, so many abuses of the innocent animals, and then we go out and we like the elephants. I love elephants, and we go and take up where they live and destroy their habitat, and then we go out and kill them because they're intruding on us.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's completely, I don't know, it's just a heart-wrenching situation, especially here in Detroit. There's so many homeless pit bulls, and I don't know, I wish you could save them all, but I can't even save one now, just because I can't even get my own act together.
Well, yeah, and when you do take on the responsibility of a pet, you have to be able to afford for its medical. Like, I want another iguana, but right now I can't even afford to take it to the vet, which costs 3 times as much as it would a dog or a cat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Those are an exotic animal, so they're
Mhm.
way, way up there.
Yeah. So I go visit my friend and her iguana.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. Iguanas are really cool animals.
Oh, they have so much emotions, and people just don't realize it. They're so
Reptiles.
loving.
Yeah, yeah. So how's the weather there?
It's supposed to be up in the 90s again today.
Jeez, we're gonna be
Yeah, but it's a
lucky.
100 yesterday.
Oh my God, it didn't even get above 50 here.
Isn't that crazy? And the acorns, oh my God, they are bombarding my house. I
Oh
mean, all
yeah?
night long. Yeah. And usually when we get a real heavy amount of acorns like this, it means a heavy winter. So I would hope that it's going to rain a lot, maybe.
Wow. Well, I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah, it's like a blanket out there. If you're not careful, you slip on them. There's so many. All you see
Wow.
are acorns covering my front yard, my porch.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, and then wake you up in the middle of the night. When they first started, it sounded like someone broke in, and my roommate was down south for a week. And man, I woke up, my heart beating, got my gun, and I was going through the house. And then I realized it was the acorns because, man, a little bit of wind, and they can hurt you really bad.
Oh yeah, big time. Especially like walnuts and stuff like that when they fall from the tree, 'cause
Same
those suckers
thing.
are
They're real
big.
hard, real hard. My friend got cut with one when he was over here working on my go kart. So
Oh wow.
but it sounds like a machine gun when the wind blows.
Oh.
And then we have two metal sheds in the right behind the house here for
Oh.
storage. And man, you have those acorns hitting those just real fast, and just going, "Whoa, we're being attacked."
It's pretty funny actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
That
don't know. We'll see if we get a lot of rain. But every year that we've had an abundant amount of acorns, it's always rained a lot.
good. Well,
Yeah.
let's like cross our fingers and hope for that
But that
case.
was before man started taking over the weather.
Oh, right. That's true. So I mean,
Yeah.
usually, like if it's a big heavy winter, usually you'll see the squirrels out there early, um, trying to hide all those nuts.
hmm
Have you seen anything like that?
No, you know what? And we only have a couple squirrels. Well, probably about four that live out in the field out there. I haven't seen them at all. But then I haven't been outside much because you're getting attacked with acorns.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean,
Oh,
really, you hear them hitting around you all the time, all day long, while you're out there.
wow, that's
I,
pretty impressive.
yeah,
I'm amazed that they grow in the drought like that.
you'd be surprised, huh? And they're big ones, and I don't know. You know that rain that we got for 2 days there. My whole field is beautiful. The grass is all coming up. It's all green out there. It's just beautiful
Yay.
from just 2 days rain.
Wow. That's amazing. See, even in the most extreme drought conditions, grass and things like that they don't completely die off, It's always there like ready to sprout back up. So,
Well, yeah, but a week ago, if you would have walked out in my field, it was all dry, like straw.
mhm.
It's just boom, man. I just noticed it yesterday. I went, wow, look how green my field is. It's like springtime out there.
Neat. See,
Yeah,
it's neat. The earth has got a remarkable, healing mechanism.
yeah. If
All
we'd
right.
allow it to heal,
Yeah.
like Dane says, if we would stop all this, uh, decimating the earth, it could recover.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that's in a way part of that Agenda 21 thing where they want to herd everybody into compact cities and then
Mm.
rewild the rest of it.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just reading this article, and it really brings home how controlled we're going to be, because all the big telecoms are fighting now to who's going to control the Internet of Things. And this is global because, like, our washing machine has to talk to, our smart meter, and then everything else in the house, they all have to communicate, and then they all have to send their information in to the government. Well, this is global, and they're saying this is going to be a 19 trillion a year uh, uh, income profit for these companies, and so they're all fighting over it. But imagine everything in your life, every aspect of your life is going to be controlled by computers.
Ugh.
You know, I mean, like my friend, when they notified her that she was using too much electricity during peak hours, and if she didn't cut back, they would cut back for her. That was a real wake up call to me. You're using too much, so we're going to turn off your power. And think of old people like my landlady that's cold all the time. She has her heat on all the time. Well, they wouldn't go for that because it'll be a machine. They don't have no emotions. They'll just cut off her power.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Sure.
how many glitches do we get on our computers? Imagine your whole life, your car, your house, and washing machine, toaster, everything is going to be controlled by these machines.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
of
And then
course, they're going to start, giving us these vaccines and then rewrite our DNA.
Then
And
we'll probably have little chips that are going to be controlling us too. The ones that they
exactly,
keep.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yup, the ones of us that don't die off.
Hmm.
And the Ebola. Jeez.
Oh man.
Oh, it's so nice and cheerful first thing in the Monday morning.
Yeah. It's just
My goodness.
yeah, it's getting crazier by the minute. I think
Mm-hmm.
that this one and then the police raids. Oh my God, they raided this guy's home in Georgia for his okra. They thought it was pot in his garden.
Really? Really? Like these fools or whatever undercover, whatever. That
Well, a
fool or
helicopter noticed it.
oh
And
God.
it says Cartersville, Georgia. A retired man was awoken to his property being invaded by a swarm of police officers, accompanied by drug sniffing dogs and a police helicopter interested in the plants in his garden. The early morning raid occurred on October 1st, 2014, at the home of Dwayne Perry. The first thing he remembers hearing was the whirling of of copter blades and strange men banging on his door. I was scared, actually, at first because I didn't know what was happening, said Mr. Perry. Agents from Governor's Task Force for Drug Suppression had apparently been trolling the skies over the area and observed plants on his property that they deemed suspicious. Based on that intel, a team of Broad County deputies trespassed on Mr. Perry's land and harassed and potentially arrested the the retiree because of the contents of his garden. They later discovered after they trampled through his garden and, had him handcuffed and put him through all that, that it was okra instead of marijuana because okra has 5 leaves and marijuana has 7. But, hovering over his house on a helicopter, that's endangering his life. For one thing, they were breaking the law from the get.
Well, I hope he sues him. I really hope he finds some kind of lawyer. But you know what? Most people they can't afford a lawyer to go through these lawsuits.
Hmm. And because they noticed something from the sky, they don't know for sure, and they go into his house fully armed with armor on, and they know they're not gonna, that was no big drug, like it was a big drug plantation or something, because of one plant that they thought was pot. Now, how much
Well,
money did we pay for that raid, or did the citizens of
exactly.
that county pay for that raid?
Exactly. And don't you think that they need to have reasonable suspicion? I think that's what the Fourth Amendment says.
Right, and to go in like that for one plant, for that matter, and and then, oh, we're sorry, and leave. And the man says he's wondering if it really ruined his reputation because the way people talk when they see cops raiding a house, what do they think right away? You're a criminal, so there's his reputation. Plus, he it could have went very bad. If he could have came out dead, and
Yeah.
yeah,
How
and
how
and
stupid you gotta be to freaking mistake ochre for pot? I mean, come on.
right, and
Check
any
your
excuse
facts.
to play soldier.
Yeah. Well, they gotta have somebody to train on, I guess, and I guess we've become the experiments to train on.
Yeah, it's just getting so crazy. I don't know. And the amount of money that goes into this, when and rapists and pedophiles and murderers, they don't get the attention that a pot grower gets.
Right, exactly. And 9 out of 10 times they don't even get busted if you're like a pedophile or something like that. It's just
Oh no, you'll get like that one teacher that well, thank goodness they redid his case, but that one teacher that got 3 months community service after raping a 14-year-old that later committed suicide.
yeah. See, I mean, what? They're too busy going after innocent people that aren't even
We
doing anything.
Right.
That's more important than getting the real bad guys. I mean, that's all them sitting in D.C. is a perfect testament to that.
Mhm.
The
It goes
criminals run amok.
right. And this war. on drugs for 50 years now, and still more people are using drugs now, and more people are going to prison now. And for what? Just so these guys can get more toys, because now, they go in, they raid a house, they get to keep all the goodies that they find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. It's it's just pretty much a free for all out there right now.
And it has been for years and
Yeah.
years. I mean, you should see, this is a small community, but our city hall is like we call it the Taj Mahal. And they built it during that real strong influx, like in the 80s and 90s, when all these, I mean, every week you could look in the paper and millions of dollars worth of stuff was confiscated, and they all got to keep it. And so they build these great big buildings and elaborate things. All they don't want to give that up.
Right.
That's what it's all. When it really comes down to it, that's what it's about. What they can get.
Yeah, what they can steal from everybody.
Right. And most, I mean, if you really talk to most police officers, they all do drugs. No different, but they'll go out and ruin somebody else's life.
Well, the
It's
same
crazy.
people who ship in the drugs also own the
Also,
prisons. You know?
yep. Yeah. Well, here in California, on the ballot, I was just skimming over my voters book that came in. We're going to be sending less people to prison for nonviolent crimes.
That's first.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it and I'm going, "What?" I didn't hear any, because I don't have TV, so I don't hear all this. But yeah, I'm trying to find it here. Drug and alcohol testing. Oh, and plus we want to do drug and alcohol tests on doctors. That's on the ballot.
What?
Yes, and I think it's a good idea, because those people are in control of your life. They have you under a knife, and a lot of times they're wired to stay awake, or morphine. A lot of doctors do a lot of drugs, and I'm
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, but I'm never for it ever. I mean, I don't even
Well, yeah,
care. It just it's infringing on everybody's rights. It's
that's
assuming
true.
people are guilty before they've had a chance to even defend themselves. It's just that kind of thing paves the way for like the cops pulling you over and taking your blood there right there at the traffic ticket stop. That's what this
Right.
kind of shit paves the way for. I mean, I
But we
guess
already have that.
if you're in public transportation, I mean that could be. I just don't even agree with that either. You know what I
I don't
mean?
either. But if they're going to do it to us, if we even just to get a job, you have to pass a drug test. I
Right.
think doctors and police departments, because they have our lives in their hands, literally.
I kind of agree, but I really disagree with making
Testing it all,
somebody
invasion of your
that.
privacy.
Yeah, it's absolutely against the entire Constitution, every facet of it. So I therefore will forever disagree with it.
Yeah.
I had to quit being a taxi cab driver, but because they started, drug testing and stuff. I mean, I've known I've known plenty of heroin addicts that were cab drivers that functioned perfectly
Fine.
every day
Yep.
in that job. They never, got into a big horrible wreck, and they never. I mean, they would freaking take the dang taxi cabs all the way to Detroit from Ann
That's
Arbor. But that
that's
was
what
back in the day.
Yeah,
And
that's what Amsterdam discovered when they provided the heroin for heroin addicts. They led normal lives.
yeah, a lot of them are totally productive,
Hmm.
actually.
The
Um,
only thing that makes them criminal is the black market and the prices.
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, really, I just disagree with drug testing all the way around. Really, I mean, when it comes down to brass tacks. But go ahead and read that. I mean, that's
Oh no, I was just reading that out of the propositions out of my book. But then it also says criminal sentences, misdemeanor penalties, initiative statute. And now that I'm going to read in completely, because finally in California they're discovering people are getting very angry at the amount of money in these hard times being spent on prison I mean, it costs a lot to keep a prisoner in prison, and we have more prisons than schools in California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, they're talking misdemeanor, drop a lot of felonies to misdemeanors, and that's a good thing. We gotta get, I think they should just release all nonviolent prisoners from prison. Period. If they haven't literally hurt someone, no victim, no crime.
Right.
And if they're in there for pot, let them
Oh,
out.
absolutely. But of
And
course,
there's
the
a lot,
state is the victim usually. It's the state that's the victim, and oh, look at what you've done to the state.
right?
It's
How is
mostly
this?
it's mostly we're trying to like make it so that you can't profit from anything anymore.
Uh-huh.
We are the only ones that can profit from any of it. So,
And it's insane. I'm glad California's finally waking up to it. But I mean, Brown, he does a few things right, but when I think of someone like in prison doing 20, 25 years because they got caught with a joint, you know, and some of the states are still like that. Texas, for one.
oh yeah, yep. Yes, and let me tell you, I mean, things are starting to change, but I don't know. A, not fast enough, and B, it just seems like it's going to, when you take one tyranny away, one form of it,
Another
you'll
one,
get it
yeah.
another one in its place, which is even worse. Um,
Yeah, but it is true because I'm one. Whenever I read an article, I always go down and I read the comments, and almost always you got your uh trolls that are paid to be there to really sound off, but I'm noticing not even that. Every comment on this one about the cops raiding this guy for his okra, every comment is saying they've gone too far. They're over the line. This has got to stop. And that's a good thing. That means more and more people are waking up more quickly now because this is getting out there.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, when is this crap gonna end? I mean, it's pretty much, for the most part, it's gonna turn into this just horrible, horrible tyranny. It already is, and it's just basically conditioning cops and citizens to distrust each other
Oh yeah.
and to fight against each other, and it's working. It's working. Let me tell you, it's working.
Right. More and more people are hating the cops, they're fearing the cops, and the cops are acting like military, personnel. When you supply people, anyone with new toys, they want to play with them. And that's what they're doing with all this military equipment with these police forces. I mean, if you get a new quad, you want to go out and play with it. Any excuse to go ride it, you're going to do it. Well, that's the same way with all these toys. What do they need grenade launchers for?
Right? I mean, or ACPs.
Hmm. You know, and that's what it's come down to. And then their adrenaline, like that Barry Cooper that wrote "Never Get Busted Again." There was a DEA agent. He goes, when cops are on their way to a wreck or something like that, and they're going real fast and stuff, they don't care about the people there. It's their adrenaline going. Or when they're going to do a raid, it's the adrenaline rush, and you get addicted to it, and so then you take more chances and you want to do more because the adrenaline high is
Yeah,
what
it's
it's
true.
about.
It's very, very true. That's that's an absolute truism right there.
Yeah,
Um,
can you imagine the pep talk before they go in to raid a house? I
oh,
mean, when they come in, they're already yelling and screaming and ordering people around and stuff. You don't think that isn't an adrenaline rush?
it is. Believe me, it is.
Hmm.
I've been actually told before by a SWAT team guy that yes, that's what happens.
Yeah, it's the adrenaline.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, and there was this other article that I wanted to go over real quick.
Cool.
That okay. Um, now if I can find it. Okay. Uh, in Dallas, Texas, there was a big manhunt all of a sudden. Police find man who rode in Ebola patient's ambulance. In Dallas, a homeless panhandler who rode in the same Dallas ambulance after the Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan has been found after an extensive manhunt. The 52-year-old man, who city officials identified as Michael Lively, was admitted to Parkland Memorial Hospital Sunday afternoon after being taken into custody by Dallas police officers. Um, oh man, I hate this. It just went away from me again. Okay, here it is. Um, he exhibited clear indicators that he needed to be taken to the psych ward, Jenkins told News 8. Uh, Parkland spokesman Mike Melly said Lively was later removed by health officials and taken to an undisclosed location for isolation. News 8 was the first to report on the search for Lively early Sunday. The manhunt began Saturday after Lively walked away from a local hospital where he had been taken to be checked out. Officials tell News 8 that Lively was the next person to ride in the ambulance last Sunday after Duncan was taken to Presbyterian Hospital. Duncan remained in critical condition at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Sunday. Dallas Fire Rescue Ambulance number 37 was taken out of service on Tuesday, but since has been returned to the fleet after being decontaminated. Hours before Lively was again located on Sunday, Jenkins confirmed that officials were looking for a low-risk individual. He and other officials at the Center for Disease Control news conference Sunday said that there was no need for community concern since the man was not showing symptoms of Ebola. I want to stress that this person has not committed a crime. They are low-risk individuals, and I emphasize low risk. So my question is, if he's such low risk, why the big manhunt? And then the other thing, to place the man, because he's homeless, in a psych ward, to me, that's just so off. You know, this whole Ebola thing, the more I look into it and stuff, the more it just seems like it, it's just a fear-mongering thing. Because if it was true, I just can't see him letting international flights continue. We created it here. We have a patent on all the strains of it, and then we're upset because it's coming back here. How did it get to Africa in the first place if we created it here? You know, and then they need this fear. It's fear. Next door we have ISIS. You know that they've been converted over to ISIS. You got to be afraid of that. You have to be afraid to be in contact with anyone because you may get Ebola. And then the border wide open, and now they're saying they have literally sent people coming over the border to every city in the United States. They're saying now.
See, and they just now sent 1,000 more guys over to Liberia. Yeah. What the hell are you doing that for? Our troops are not trained to deal with. They're not part of the WHO or the CDC. We're sending our guys over there to do what? To build like emergency shelters and then to bring it all back here? No. I
know, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
This guy, Obama or Ebola or whatever the hell you want to call him, he needs to be reined in right now, and nobody is doing that.
No one's even talking about it.
I know. You're not supposed to send American troops over to fight a freaking disease. Hello? That's what aid workers are for. And all the protocols are not being followed. None of them are being followed.
That's why I call bullshit on it. I'm just, and then, they wanted to get back into Iraq and Syria. And so what do? They bring forward a new Taliban, Al Qaeda. Just all they did was change the name, and now we're going to fight the ones we trained here in this country. I don't see how anyone cannot put these dots together.
No, I know. And they're not going in there to help build freaking Ebola shelters. They're going in there for other nefarious purposes. It's obvious.
If it was all true, we would be using them to protect our borders.
Exactly. If they were really like interested in protecting the welfare and protecting national security, yeah, they'd be bringing them all back here and putting them on the borders.
Right. So
Absolutely.
we're just exposing them all to Ebola. Then they will have to go into quarantine. And then, really, we are wide open. This
Yeah.
country has no defenses right now.
I know, I know. They've completely eradicated the defenses, and
Hmm.
that's usually, and I've said it before, when they go for a jugular attack, they'll take away the security. So this is what's going on right now, man.
But even when we did have the security, look at 9/11, and NORAD never left the launch pad.
Right.
So these things have been going on really out there fast forwarding since Bush. Well, Clinton really, but Bush, and people still haven't connected the dots. I mean, you know, and then look at Russia and China becoming friends, and we just keep doing things to piss people off.
Sure.
I don't know. It's
Absolutely.
just insanity.
Yeah,
And
I can't deal.
yeah, why doesn't someone just go in and arrest that whole administration?
I know the whole damn every single one of them need to be arrested and paraded down Perp Row.
Hmm. And maybe if more of these highfalutin lawyers or congressmen or someone like up in there, their kids get go in the military or something and they get hurt, maybe then they might think about going and getting them, but they don't have to go in the military anyway. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Send your own kids over there and then let's talk.
Right.
But
Yeah, exactly. But no, they won't do that either.
yeah.
The rules don't apply to them.
Yeah,
Rules don't
here's
apply.
another one. And I see a lot of this that people are questioning, uh, can the government really protect us? With all their security at the airports and all this, and that's supposed to protect us. It says smoker bypasses security at JFK, flights delayed. Authorities say an airline passenger who took a cigarette break caused a security scare at New York City's Kennedy Airport that led to some flight delays. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey says it happened late Saturday afternoon in Terminal 8 after a man had gone through security screening and then went out to smoke. Port Authority spokesman Joe Penagano says the passenger returned through a gate that wasn't open. Screening had halted. Screening was halted for about 90 minutes as authorities investigated the breach, which caused up to an hour of delays of all American airline flights at the terminal. The man was interviewed but not arrested. Kennedy is one of the most heavily trafficked airports in the U.S., handling tens of millions of passengers. Now, if their security was so good, how did it get back in through a gate that was left unlocked? You know,
Unbelievable.
yeah. And I mean, if they're really protecting us and they go through all this at the airports because they use planes, but allow all these immigrants coming from all these different countries into the country down at the border, how can anyone with any common sense at all not see that there is a problem here?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's so bad that they're even putting up the signs at the border in I don't know how many languages now.
Yeah, and it's all saying, "Welcome, welcome to our country. Here's the
Right.
red carpet that we've laid out for you."
And then that was big news, and now that it's not big news, but these people are still coming across the border. People think that the
Droves.
problem's been solved. Oh, well, they got it all solved because it's not in the headlines anymore. And who's to say people from Africa aren't fleeing to here and crossing our border with the Ebola if it was true.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um,
Oh my
but these things
God.
they don't bring up. Instead we send our troops over there to fight Ebola. It's every
Yeah.
pandemic, it's just insanity, and I don't know. I think it's real over there, but I don't believe their numbers. I think the numbers are manipulated or they are starving people to death so their numbers can go higher. I could see that happening.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you don't administer treatment, then
Hmm.
yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. And apparently, that very thing is is happening with that guy that's in Texas. They're
Yeah.
not giving him any medicine.
Right. And I don't know. It's crazy and insanity that all I don't know. What do we do? How do we arrest Obama and his handlers? Is
I
what
know.
we need. It's his
This is,
handlers.
yeah, they're the criminals. I mean, they're literally saying the first person diagnosed with Ebola in the United States was fighting for his life in a Dallas hospital on Sunday, appeared to be receiving none of the experimental medicines for the virus.
Yeah,
So,
because they ran out. All these chemical companies that are in this for the profit, for the money, and they don't have any left. Excuse me.
yeah, that's what they were saying. They were saying, said doses of the experimental medicine ZMapp were all gone. Whoops! And that the drug produced by San Diego-based Biopharmaceutical is, quote, not going to be available anytime soon, unquote. Oh, isn't that so wonderful? We love that, don't we? They're asked about a second experimental drug made by Canada's Techmira Pharmaceuticals Corporation. He said it can be quite difficult for patients to take. Oh, really? So then they're not going to give it to I
Yeah.
don't know, man. I think only like a certain upper echelon is going to be able or allowed to take it. If you have enough money, then okay. Well, oh look, well we found a dose right here underneath the carpet, and if you're rich enough to afford it, sure, we'll give it to you. Um, I remember George Bush was on Cipro like about a week before all that anthrax scare right after 9/11. They were already on Cipro, so which is like the antibiotic that best apparently is good for anthrax. And I can guarantee
And
you.
they have it stockpiled up. You
Oh,
know it.
they do. They've got giant warehouses full of these freaking vaccines. You know they do, all ready to roll out, but they first have to let it get bad first. And so people are begging, begging, begging for the cure, and then all of a sudden after a couple of years of 5 million people that die off, oh, look what we've done. We've come up with a cure when they've got it like laying around right now. I'm almost positive of that.
Hmm. I mean, these chemical companies put out how many drugs a minute almost, and they can't, get any of this. I mean, it's all gone. And we created Ebola, so you know that they had the antidote, and they always have had the antidote from when they created it.
That's right. And yeah, and of course if they own the freaking patent to it, they've been experimenting with it since 1979 and actually even before 1979.
76, I think it was
Yeah,
when the patent.
76. Yeah, you're right. When they claim oh, look, we isolated this new disease. No, they were working on it for God knows how long as a bioweapon. I mean, it's just
Right. And
anybody.
the patent covers all strains, and
Yes.
mutations.
It does. And it also covers that only their certain hired pharmaceutical companies can work on the cure. Nobody else is, you know.
Yeah, like we were talking
How to
with
do it.
Jules last week, that all these companies, 5 or 6 big companies, were all in the bidding to make it and produce it, and all those big companies that have so many outlets can't produce enough for what? How many patients do we have in this country right now? Three,
Mhm.
maybe four,
Yeah.
and they can't produce four
Right.
enough for 4 people.
Well,
Again,
it's
the
gonna
government
be,
can't protect us.
and I can pretty much guarantee in about maybe 15 more days, we're gonna start seeing it just pop up everywhere. Just bing,
Mhm.
bing, bing, just like popcorn.
And then all of a sudden, like magic, they'll have all these vaccines they want to give us.
Right. Oh yeah. Yep. Just like magic. But first, what do they gotta do? They gotta let it circulate. They gotta let it do some damage before that.
And if you don't want the vaccine, they'll use the same logic on you to get your neighbors against you, because if you don't get the vaccine, then you're endangering the people that did get the vaccine. When in reality, if the vaccine worked, then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Exactly. So that it's just a bunch of Orwellian double think, double speak. It's just I hate it, and the medical tyranny is coming down on us right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
I was looking at the at a news clip the other day, and they're already saying, well, we've got to be prepared um to contain this entire thing, and contain means like martial law and do whatever they have to do to instill that. So um, it's I don't know. I, the all of the this whole thing has been completely orchestrated, and we know it.
yeah.
There
Can
ain't
you remember the first time you heard the government using the word pandemic?
hmm maybe in the 70s,
Really? I
like
never heard any.
swine
I
flu
can't
or
remember.
something.
Was
I
that?
don't know. I don't know. I not sure. To be honest, I don't even know. I mean, but with the mad cow disease, they use that word. Um, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it just seems like, since, the swine flu, I mean, it just seems to be always out there now, pandemic.
mhm.
And that's what you scare people with now, because it's an invisible killer. It's even worse than the ISIS member that lives next door. At least you can see him.
Yeah, yeah, and you might be able to like defend yourself against the ISIS guy, but
Yeah.
oh boy.
And now it's what the cancer campaign has started, with the pink ribbons, and it, everywhere I see it everywhere. And what is disheartening is the chemical companies that are backing this. When all these good people think they're donating to help cancer, and to find a cure, and they do runs and they buy all these little pink things and all the money just goes back to the pharmaceutical companies that are causing the problem, really.
Right, absolutely.
And to try and explain that to people, they really look at you funny when you say, no, I refuse to donate to those causes, because if all the money, how many billions of dollars do they make every year, and yet cancer is still just as if not more so, affecting everyone's lives, and the
It's
cure has not changed. They're still using poison
Yeah,
to
they're
kill
using
it.
radiation to deal with the cancer, and
Mhm.
it's never gonna work. It's just never gonna work. I'm going through that with a buddy of mine right now. It's horrible. He got one dose of the chemo, it nearly killed him. He's like, no more. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I have a friend, and they told him he had cancer, a brain tumor, and it was cancerous. And that was like 12 years ago. He never went back,
Wow.
and he is fine. And our bodies, this is the thing. I was listening to this doctor this weekend, and our bodies have cancer cells in there all the time. But if your immune system is really strong, it just throws them off.
Mhm. Yeah,
So really, it's your immune system, people, that if you try and get healthy and put all good stuff in your body, your immune system, you will not probably get cancer.
right?
You
Or,
know, but
any of this other crap that's floating around either. I didn't
mhm,
get sick one time last year. Not once did I get sick with a flu. I got a little bit of a sinus problem over the summer because it was so like rainy and stuff here that there was like mildew and stuff
yeah,
flying around, but I just, knocked that crap out with like silver and it went
right.
away. I've been fine.
When did you start eating healthy and being very aware of what you eat?
Oh God. Quite a while ago now.
So your immune system's getting stronger.
Yeah, yeah. I take supplements. I go work out. I did a hardcore workout this weekend, and I try not to eat crappy. I mean, sure, have a slice of pizza once in a while or a couple of bites of
Right.
potatoes, but really 80% of my diet is like a grain-free, um, you know,
Good,
meat.
healthy food.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I go out of my way to buy like grass fed beef. I go out of my way to go to our local farmers market and buy like local foods and I eat a lot of eggs, a lot of locally produced eggs and I try very hard to keep my immune system going and darn it, I wouldn't say that I'm a walking fortress or anything like that, but I got a better chance than like say like a smoker and a drinker. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I mean,
And I was and then we're all here. We're gonna start a detox part, but parasites. Oh man, I never really gave them a thought.
ooh, I think about it a lot, kind of.
I hadn't, and I watched this video, and I mean, do you realize that people who eat sushi in 1 square inch is over 2 million parasites?
Yikes!
Yeah, that they are taking into their bodies.
Really?
Yes, and like we've always had parasites, but people don't think about it. And now doctors are starting to look at it, and they're starting to find that these are the causes of a lot of our diseases and stuff. Because they say parasites can change your emotions, can
Oh
change
yeah.
what you eat, change your cravings, because they control what they want you to eat.
I know that calcium bentonite clay,
Hmm.
when taken internally, that gets rid of parasites and worms and things like that.
Well,
Um,
it helps too, but yeah, I do. I have my diatomaceous clay, food
hmm
grade,
yeah.
but I mean, there's so many parasites, and I will never be without them. These say, because they're a part of life on Earth. But everyone needs to be detoxing because there's some of these parasites. They can go through the brain barrier and start eating your brain, and then right
Yeah.
away I think Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah. Sushi though, that's a big, big, big thing, huh?
Yeah,
I
and
didn't ever hear that before. That's
yeah, and
that's
and they're
nuts.
finding that some of these parasites can lay over 1 million eggs a day.
Holy shit, man.
Right.
Yikes. I can't
Yeah.
deal with that. That's so terrible. I mean, not only should you not be eating any sushi because of the radiation, but here's another reason not to eat sushi, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, a million
Goodness.
in 1 square inch of sushi. And they said this is a fact, scientific fact, that if you eat sushi, you have some of the most dangerous parasites.
Oh my god, that's
And
freaking
then,
horrific.
two, if you have pets, you have parasites. Animals lick themselves, their buttholes and everything, and then lick their fur, and then we pet them, and that's another way. And they're just everywhere. There's no way you can get away from it. They say. I mean, you open a doorknob, you shake a hand with someone. You could have passed who knows how many. You kiss your boyfriend. You're passing parasites. But I never really looked at it. So we're gonna be doing a parasite detox, and I don't know. I'm kind of scared to do that because they say that they will leave your body in any way they can. But eating good will benefit you a lot as far as parasites go because they only like environments that are good for them, which is junk food, processed food, you know. And if you're putting good,
Candida.
right, if you're putting good food in your body, they don't like that. They won't live, they don't want to live in that environment.
That's right. Absolutely
And
correct.
but yeah,
It's
so you collect them, but then they get in the environment in your body. If it's good and clean food, they don't want to stay, so they'll leave.
yuck.
So, but I never thought of
That's
parasites.
horrific. That's horrific.
Oh man, when watching that video, I mean, I had two friends here at the time, and jaws fell open. I mean, I had never thought of it, and man, and we've all agreed we're gonna, get a detox for the colon and the diseases that they say, you know, it causes most of your indigestion or your gut. That's where most of them live.
Well, yeah,
And,
because there's like, usually a few pounds of undigested food into in your intestines.
right. And then they eat the colon wall. There's some that they actually put out this substance that makes turns like your lining of your colon into a liquid so they can eat it.
Gosh, I want to start taking clay now. Thanks.
But I mean, it's something that needs to be brought up to people. I mean, I hadn't thought about it, and I've cleaned up my diet, but still, like you, once in a while, I'll eat a piece of pizza or something. Not very often anymore because it gives me heartburn. But and they say that the the parasites control that eating crave. That
Right.
it makes you crave things that it likes.
Oh, right, exactly. Just like that article about the cats and the toxoplasmosis that Jules like read like on air I don't know about a month ago. They've got some weird like parasite that makes you fall in love with the cat. And the cat and the cat's poo.
Yeah,
It's
I
kind
mean,
of like the same thing, huh?
yeah, and it's like they say, why do we constantly eat things that and drink things that we know are bad for us? And that's why they control the cravings. They can control your emotions, and there's one I can the it's one of the tapeworms, but it'll come all the way up your throat and cause a cough.
Ugh.
And for you're just coughing, you don't know why, and then that pushes them back down into your body, and then they get through all your blood cells and throughout your body.
Oh my God, I'm gonna start taking my bentonite clay.
And we should, we can't forget these things. I mean, it freaked me out, I have to admit. When I pet my cat, I'm thinking, go wash your hands, which may be a good thing, but I don't know how many people ever thought about, why we can't seem to control these cravings, and they're finding more and more after people die and they do the autopsies, just infested with
Oh
parasites.
my God. How in the hell would you detox from that kind of a thing?
Well, there's a few ways, and you can go on YouTube, and there's a few that you can use different herbs and cayenne, garlic. If you eat a lot of garlic, that helps. They hate garlic, but there's juices that you can make that will that they don't like, and a lot of cayenne. They do not like a cayenne environment.
Yuck.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about going like my dad did and take cayenne capsules every morning because I don't like hot foods.
Hate
But
hot foods.
yeah, and my dad didn't like them either, but he took a capsule every day for his arthritis rheumatism, and it
Hmm.
really helped. So,
Well, doesn't that stuff come back on you when you take it? Like if you burp it, you'll just have these.
well, my dad never had a problem with that. But what it is you got to find your tolerance level. Like, he would take different size capsules and then find out if his poop burned, or not, and then he found the one that was fine. that, his body absorbed all of
Holy
it.
crap, that is just whoa.
But I mean, cayenne, it's an amazing, amazing herb. I mean, it can thin your blood. It can help your blood pressure. Helps pain. You can rub it on the outside of sore joints, and it helps relieve pain. It's remarkable how good it is for you.
Wow, that's really amazing. I guess this is hot off the presses. The U.S. Supreme Court declines to intervene in gay marriage cases.
What?
That's what they just decided. Just decided that today, I guess.
Decided not to intervene, like they have a right to anyway.
Right. Oh boy. So, yep. This is the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to take up the hotly contested issue of gay marriage, a surprise move that will allow gay men and women to marry in 5 states where same-sex weddings were previously banned, by rejecting the appeals cases in Virginia involving Virginia, Oklahoma, Utah, Wisconsin, and Indiana. A court left intact lower court rulings that struck down the bans in those states. So, I guess if you the stupid thing about this whole thing is getting a certificate to get married in the first place. I don't care if you're gay or
Right.
not. It's if you want to be under like a license to be married by the state, then you've got problems right off the bat right there. So
Right. And most people, I think if it wasn't for uh taxes and that type thing, a lot of people wouldn't get married.
right,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
true.
in fact, in the old days, I mean, way back, when you got married, there was no license, no nothing to do with the government. It got written in the family Bible.
Right, there was no blood tests or anything
And
like
that's how
that.
births were too. You didn't register your child with the government.
Right,
You wrote their name in the family Bible with the
right.
year and when they were born.
That's right. Absolutely. This is, it's just well, and then they never, used to give I don't know, soon it'll be like tracker chips in everybody when you're born. Soon it'll be, they got to find out who everybody is.
Well, the straw man effect. That's why you register your birth
That's right.
certificates registered as we are used as collateral.
That's correct.
Yeah. And all these things now, and then another thing, the government taking court shuts down most Texas abortion clinics overnight.
Whoa.
Yeah, more than half of all abortion clinics in Texas were forced to shut down Friday following a federal appeals court ruling that permits the state to enforce strict new regulations immediately. The decision was handed down by a panel of U.S. Fifth Circuit Court in New Orleans on Thursday, according to the Associated Press. As a result of the restrictions going into effect, only 7 of the state's remaining 20 abortion clinics can now remain open. Now, that's another thing. Why do we allow the government into our personal lives? Why are they controlling what we do with our own bodies?
That's
You know,
right.
it goes, these new requirements are being implemented even though the overall constitutionality of the law, called House Bill 2 HB2, has yet to be determined. In August, U.S. District Court Judge Lee Yeko ruled the clinics could stay open while the case made its way through all legal channels, but that decision was thrown out by the appeals court this week. So, we're going back to those archaic days of when women went down back alleys, and put their lives at risk for whatever reason, and that's putting judgment on other people, controlling other people's bodies. It's all wrong. How can we call ourselves a free country anymore?
All right. Absolutely.
It's just And what really makes me angry, because like down here at our abortion clinic, are when I see men out there protesting. Men, what right do they have to say about anything like that does with our body, or they don't get pregnant. So,
Exactly.
I just
It's a population reduction scheme, just like just like
but
all this it they they want this to perpetuate here. I'm
right.
kind of like
And
having a heart.
more black babies don't get born than white, but I mean there are times, I mean, if it's a population reduction thing, then why are they trying to close them down?
Well, because obviously I'm actually against it, to tell you the truth,
I think
because
it the
because of the
the
Margaret
person
Sanger
has
thing.
the woman that's involved. There are so many reasons for, now I'm against people who use abortion as birth control.
Well, right, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Many young women do that,
Hmm.
and it's that I
That's
don't
the
know.
bad part. But it's like anything can be abused. But there's many reasons to have an abortion. If it's going, health reasons, or the stigma of pregnant, even in this day and age, being pregnant without being married.
Well,
It,
that's still no reason to get an abortion. I mean, there's always
right.
adoption, and people are willing to pay you big freaking bucks for that. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no reason under the sun in this day and age
Okay,
to
what if
have
you're
an
raped?
abortion. I
What
mean,
if you're raped?
well, if you're raped, then okay, then a doctor should be performing that, not some scumbag with like, some jack in the box doctor's degree.
Well, yeah, but right now, I mean, they are performed by doctors. But the other thing, the pro-life, I mean, they go in and bomb abortion centers and kill people, but yet they're pro-life.
Well, you know
You
what?
know,
That kind of crap hasn't happened in
and not in
years.
a long time, yeah.
And
But
I gotta be honest with you. I don't even think it was those people that were doing that. I think it was freaking like FBI agents and infiltrators doing all that crap and then
that's
blaming it
true.
on them. That's how it's, you know what I mean?
And if
Um,
you look at it, it's another form of division.
that's right. Absolutely. And I feel particularly strongly about this. I'm glad they're shutting those things down. There's no reason that they need to even be, and if
Especially in this day and age where, it's not like it was 50 years ago, and your whole family and everyone's reputation and everything was ruined if you were pregnant out of wedlock. But now people don't give it a second thought.
no,
So
not at all.
yeah,
There's not the stigma that's involved. Plus, like I said, people usually line up to adopt. And,
I don't. Yeah, newborns. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I mean, people are lined up out the door like I'm waiting,
Hmm.
waiting lists to adopt newborns. I mean, that's a big deal. Um,
Yeah.
and like I said, a young lady can get paid pretty handsomely for being a carrier for somebody's baby. I mean,
Oh, I have a friend that she got artificially inseminated and she had so far two babies for these two men in Italy. And beautiful people. They are just so awesome. They came over here and we all met them. But yeah, and she had carried the first one, and then they paid for all expenses and
yeah,
all. Because she's one that can be pregnant and it don't affect her at all. I mean, she's just, baby built, built to have
yeah.
babies. And then when the little boy was 3, she agreed to have another baby for them. And I mean, these kids now, they're uh, 5 and 8, I think, and they are just remarkable kids. And these
Yeah.
two gentlemen are just the most wonderful parents.
Are they
You
gay
know,
or something?
yeah, they are.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but and they've all become part family. It's just amazing. So, yeah, you're right. There are people out there that will pay all expenses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's no need for these damn clinics. There's
Well,
no need under the
there's no,
sun.
not for clinics, right? If you're raped or it has to, you know, it's going to harm you to have a child. Yeah, it should be done in a hospital like any other operation.
Well, of course, there is that morning after pill too. If you're raped, then perhaps the morning after pill or whatever is better than some kind of invasive, crazy ass surgery. I mean,
Right? Weren't they trying to get that to be over the counter?
yes, which is that's insane too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is a pharmaceutical sterilization,
Yeah. What are the side effects
agenda.
of it? I
Oh
haven't
yeah, I mean,
looked into those.
oh, I can't. I don't even want to even begin to imagine what the side effects of that RU 480, whatever the hell it's called. Um,
Yeah.
but that's sufficient enough. I mean, for cases of rape and incest, and then
Right.
that's
And
it. In my
that
opinion, I feel like the rest is just nothing but just a giant extermination process.
I don't see why anyone would be against the morning after pills. Of course, I don't know the side effects, but that, I mean, it's not even, it's one cell, maybe two cells by the next morning. That, I don't know, the people that think that's life is beyond me. I mean, after it's starting to form, yeah, I could see that it's considered a life, but when it's just a cell or two.
Well, I mean that's it. It has to be considered life when it's just a cell or two because it it it's growing. If something's growing, then it's got a life. You know what I mean? It's the same with like mold or mildew or something. It's alive. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's a life. Its cells are dividing and growing. Then yeah, there's life there. I mean, you can say the same thing on like a distant planet or something. If there's dividing cells, then yeah, something's actually growing and bam, there's life. They consider that life. Absolutely.
Well, then the day after pill is just as bad.
Sure, but it's not as invasive in only in in terms of like rape or incest. But then, I mean, the problem with the morning after pill is that hey, you might not have been pregnant in the first place.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
And I
So
wonder what that does to you.
I know. So then you get all the pharmaceutical crap going on. And so really, I don't know. I mean, the answer is
Birth control or something. I mean, there's lots of natural ways to use in birth control. Use
that's right.
rhythm and, take responsibility. But you know what? When you're a teenager, you can remember back to your teens. You don't think about that. It's
Right.
not really at the forefront of your mind.
That's right. Well, I mean, in like 50, 75, 100 years ago, it was almost unheard of for teens to have sex with each other. I mean, because the morals were different. The moral
Well, that we
fabric.
knew about. But even back, I mean, in the 20s and 30s and
It
stuff.
happened. It did happen.
Right.
And I mean, it was pretty rare. But now it's just like a free for all. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, our moral standard, and it's more, well, being unwed and having a baby is accepted now by everybody,
That's right.
you know.
That's exactly right. And they teach sex eds to kindergartners, you know what I mean? Um, or
Destroying the moral structure of the country, and they're doing a damn good job.
right, and I definitely think um closing these abortion clinics was a really good thing. Um, there's not a need for them. There's no need at all for them. And it's not like, oh, keep your laws off my body. That's a bunch of bullshit, actually. Um, it should be keep your freaking abortion needles out of me. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, I got kind of strong opinions about it just because of,
And it's
I,
another
about
division,
it is
another.
another division. It's absolutely another division, and people will fight to the eye teeth about it too.
My whole thing is, I don't have the right to judge or put judgment on anyone else. you know.
That's true.
And if it's a free society, you leave no victim, no crime. With this, there is a victim, the baby. But why? Okay, answer me this. Why did they, they allow abortion in the late stages where the baby is developed? What do they call it? Just a
Late term
name,
abortion.
huh?
It's a late term abortion.
Right. Those were legal, but yet when early on was illegal. I mean, I don't understand that at all. Late term abortion.
Yeah, that's literally like
Right. To me, that
that's
was horrible.
it is horrible. That shouldn't even be allowed to happen. And
Ever.
I mean, what they're trying to make it fashionable, really, for women to like, oh, look, we've detected that your child has Down syndrome.
Right.
Oh, here comes the late term abortion. You
They
know what I
did
mean?
that with my daughter. They told her that there was a possibility that my granddaughter would have Down syndrome. And she wrestled with it really hard,
Hmm.
but then decided to go ahead and have the baby. But she was like 7 months when they told her this.
Yeah, see? And then it's
And
like
her baby came out fine.
yeah, exactly. They can only just speculate. They don't
Hmm.
have any hard evidence that they can ultrasounds don't tell you that kind of crap.
And what
You know
kind
what
of
I mean?
damage does an ultrasound do to the baby? I always wondered.
Oh my God. My buddy went to an ultrasound appointment with his wife, and he watched very intently the goings on, and when those sound waves went through to the fetus, he saw his own child's head like cave in for a minute and then go right back up to it's but he saw the wave go right through his child, and he lost it. He almost lost it right there in the office right there. And he was like, that is not happening again. No way, no how. And he was completely very moved by that. Ultrasound's a horrible thing to do to a fetus. Absolutely horrible.
Anything that can project a picture from what's inside you, it's got to be damaging to you.
It
I don't
is. It's
care.
damaging the
X-rays,
baby.
this, yeah, and and how many? They isn't that a requirement when you go to the doctor that they do that anymore? I don't know.
Yeah,
I never
pretty
had one.
much. I mean, you don't it's not a requirement. You can say, hell no, I'm not going to have that. But it's a recommendation, as with all their damn recommendations. Oh, and now it's a recommendation that the mother get vaccinated now. Whereas,
What?
3 or 4 years ago, that was unheard of. That you're not supposed to get pregnant mothers vaccinated whatsoever. Now it's like, oh look, let's double the vaccinations we give pregnant mothers. So yeah,
Is that
it's-
forced upon you? Like I know at the vet, my cat had to have had rabies shots before they would even see her.
right.
Are they doing that now with pregnant women, making them get vaccinated?
No, they can't really make them, but they strongly recommend it.
And if you refuse, I wonder what will they still treat you? Because like JJ's doctor, if when he refused vaccination, he refused to see him.
Yeah, yeah, just like that. And that wasn't even a pregnant woman situation. So
Right.
it's getting really, really bad now. And they're going after babies. Really, it's this whole population reduction thing. That's
Babies
why,
and pregnant,
huh?
babies and pregnant women. The two that aren't supposed to be inoculated, the most apt to have difficulties with the vaccine are the ones that, why are they giving pregnant women vaccines where before they couldn't have any because it was too dangerous?
That's right, absolutely. And now suddenly, oh, it's just fine to do that.
Yeah. Going back to, the cancer thing, the chemical companies are behind all of this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military industrial complex.
Yeah, this country takes in like 90% of the drugs put out there through pharmaceutical companies.
Sure.
85 to 90% are here in this country
That's right.
throughout, for the whole world. And they make like $250,000 a minute. It's
It's probably a lot more. I think U of
probably
M
more.
makes a lot more than that.
I have a friend and he has a heart condition. His heart swelled up and stuff. And so he went on this experimental treatment and he was doing okay. And so after the study was done, now they won't let, though, we don't give it to him anymore. They want, and the price is outrageous. It's something like $500 a week. They will not give him the drug.
Wow.
He has to buy the drug, and he's getting worse and worse. After he went through, I would think that, if you went through their experimental program, that they would continue to give you the drug. I'm going to write, I told him I want the name of the company, pharmaceutical company. I'm going to write them
Well,
because that's not right.
this is they this is how they operate. They've got their little guinea pigs out there, and then get them like it's kind of like the old version of the drug dealer in the schoolyard. Here, take
Right.
a couple of these for free. Hey, 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 get them hooked,
Right.
and
And
then
this guy,
oh look, you
he,
got to pay now.
yeah, he was on the program for 2 years and he was staying steady. Now he's been in the hospital twice with attacks. We didn't think he was going to make it. And because this company, now that they got it approved and all, and they're selling it, now they don't give it to him anymore. And it's so wrong. I didn't know that they did that.
Got approved
Once
and they're selling it.
yeah, they got approved because it
Jeez.
did work on him and some of the other people that they were doing using it for, and it's where your heart gets swollen. His heart is swollen up big, and it really controlled it well. He was living his life pretty well,
Oh my
and
god.
then as soon as it got approved, they just cut him off right then. Sorry, you have to pay for it now.
Yeah, that's what my dog needs.
Oh yeah, the swollen heart.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they gave him 5 years uh to live, and that's been almost 10 years now.
Jeez.
But that drug really helped him, and we're seeing him deteriorate. So I'm going to write the company because I've heard sometimes if you write the company, they'll give the medication out, but because it's so wrong.
Yeah. Yep, uh it's part of this medical tyranny that we're seeing, and the abortion thing has to do with it, all of it. It's all connected. It's
Yeah.
all connected. Them withholding the experimental vaccine from the guy in Dallas. I mean, you know what I mean? It's all connected.
Mhm.
They know exactly what the hell's going on. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yep. Through vaccine. I mean, look at the control. I mean, all the smart items like we were talking about, your refrigerator, your washing machine, your toaster, all talking to, sending out what's going on, and then that goes from the hub to who knows where. That will be controlled, by other computers, and then the vaccines, and who knows what their nanotechnology they're putting in us already,
Oh yeah.
or the super pill that gives you all this power where you authorize everything with a touch. It's crazy. It's what we
You.
used to watch in TV science fiction movies.
That's right. It's absolutely right. It's worst science fiction movie you could ever imagine has come true.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, well, yeah. Uh, what was it, Jules? Hi, Jules. Question is the Ebola dude, they're flying to Nebraska going to get the vaccine. Yeah, that's a good question because they say they're out of the vaccine.
Yeah.
So, well, I wonder how they plan on treating him.
Well, it depends if the dude can afford it or not. Hey, if he can afford it, sure. Look, we found another couple of files here under the carpet. If you can afford it. This guy that's from Africa in Dallas, he can't afford none of this crap. And I guess his girlfriend or whatever is going crazy in quarantine, and they've tried to escape their apartment. Now, literally, she was there with like puked puke and poo
Yeah.
stained sheets that she said she only sprayed everything down with bleach. And she's still
Yeah.
sleeping in these sheets. And and but and they're why are they not quarantining them in a isolation unit? They're
Right.
quarantining them in this apartment, which
Right. Where
makes
if it
no
is
freaking
airborne,
sense.
everyone's still going to get contaminated.
Exactly. It just and I guess there's armed guards standing outside of the apartment. Um,
Well, look
it's
at this
absolutely
homeless
insane.
guy that they went and rounded back up. Now, they didn't just take him to a hospital, they took him to a psych ward. Now, that's going to make people really want to come forward if they have some symptoms to be put in a psych ward.
Why in the hell would they put him in a freaking psych ward?
I don't know. I guess because
He
he's
needs to be
not
in
that
an
important.
isolation unit. If
Right.
they're not wanting to contain this, they are not wanting to contain it, and it's super obvious that they just want this thing to be as bad as it's gonna get. Um,
But
I,
so
I,
far, what proof have we got? Have we seen actual proof other than them just saying, well, we brought this guy in, now he's all cured and he can go back out in the public? All we have is their word, and they lie to us all the time.
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't believe don't believe anything that they say. I mean, and so like the doctors that they did come here treat and they did receive those experimental vaccinations or whatever. Um, how are those people doing? They're allowed to go back into their homes. You know
Right,
what
and
I
after a
mean?
short amount of time.
Right.
And
Very
who's to
short.
say that guy didn't have food poisoning or just real bad case of the flu?
What guy?
The one that they have everybody quarantined now in their apartments and stuff. But
Oh, the
that guy,
guy in
I mean,
Dallas.
when you have a
Well,
bad
because
case of the
he
flu,
was apparently he was tested positive for it.
but I mean, that's what they tell us. And I don't know. I just have a hard time believing any of this because to me, if it was true, international flights would be stopped, the borders would be protected, and that's not happening at all.
Right, right.
You know,
Well, of
they're not
course.
even taking people's temperature when they come in. So and so if there was really a danger, those things would be stopped. There wouldn't be, people flying in from Africa.
Right. Exactly. Well, apparently they're flooding the airports there in Liberia and Sierra Leone with people desperately trying to get out. Um,
And who knows how many of those people are exposed if this is true. And then we know about these people coming over that are in these infected areas, and we have no problem with just letting them come right on in.
right.
That's
Yeah,
why I just have this, I don't know. It just seems like another one of their false flags. Fear, fear, fear. They want people to be scared again.
sure. Well, absolutely. I mean, there was another beheading this weekend too, so they're ramping that up as well.
Right. And yeah, yeah. And then the one in Oklahoma, is that the one you're talking about?
No, no, no.
Oh, another.
There was another one in Iraq or whatever, wherever. Another one this weekend. I think it was a UK citizen.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm like kind of brain dead and mind numb to all this
I
crap right
I
now.
know.
It's
But
just so much of it, and it's just
uh,
it's ramping up bigger, grander every day. More
yeah,
grandiose than the day before.
pretty soon they're gonna be selling these metal neck guards, because your neighbor might be ISIS and try and, behead you. So everybody be going around with metal neck guards in fear of their
Oh,
neighbor.
neck guards. Oh, okay. Jeez. A
Like
chastity,
remember,
chastity belts for your neck, right?
right? And remember when the drones, when they were talking about putting 33,000 of them in in the air? Well, those people right away came out with clothing that would make them invisible to the drones.
Oh,
Well, now another big thing would be neck guards.
yeah, yeah.
This is nuts.
Oh my God. I saw somewhere where there was a firehouse that is somewhere there's some kind of firehouse somewhere that's going to start they bought a drone and they're going to start using it to fight fires.
Wow, where was that?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up here. Let me see if I can't find that. Let's see.
Well, I thought that was the plan anyway for a lot of the counties was, but to fight them, you mean to actually go pour water on them?
Well, let's see here. Yeah, eye in the sky here. Unmanned aircraft offer fire service and eye in the sky. Soon fire departments across the country could have an eye in the sky thanks to the emerging market of camera-equipped unmanned aircraft, also known as drones, designed for the fire service. And this is specifically designed last week in Monrovia, California.
Oh,
Based
I know where that is.
AeroVironment debuted at QB at the QB at Firehouse World in San Diego. The QB is a 5.5 pound 4-rotor drone that can be used to monitor hazmat incidences, search and rescues, and both wildland and structure fires. The company says so. That's what they're used for.
For catching them real quick then,
Well,
like
for
what our fire
right,
outposts do, that we have them in the woods where Forest Service guys sit up there in those towers and watch for smoke.
right.
Yeah,
Now they'll have a drone to do that, and
I don't know understand how they're going to keep all these drones from running into each other.
they're not. They're absolutely not. That's gonna be it's absolutely gonna be just nuts.
It
In
is nuts.
10 years time, it's gonna be there's gonna be drones falling from the skies, because they're gonna be get caught in a tree, get caught in wires, get caught by a bird, get caught. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah, and then everyone can own one. I mean, there's no law against owning a drone, right? For the public.
No, because it's
You
right
can build
now.
your
Right
own.
now, it's you can build your own, and then a lot of people, do the hobby shop type stuff.
And then go out to the beaches and like that chick beating up that kid 'cause he was out. But I mean, how scary is that? If no one will want to ever open their curtains because you open your curtain and you're facing a drone and you don't even know who owns that drone.
Oh my God,
They
I
can be
know.
stalked. Rapists can use them to stalk women when they're home alone.
If,
Child pedophiles and all, child kidnappers. They can track a kid with a drone and no one would know, and you'd know right when the perfect time to strike is.
if
Don't
that
people forget
happened to
this?
me, I think that drone would be a perfect candidate for a freaking slingshot right square in the camera lens. Slingshot hit. I mean,
Right, and then
exactly.
if you do, will you get arrested for damaging other people's property? There's so much to this drone shit.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. It's
And
absolutely ridiculous.
that's another way to kill people too. You can arm these drones. If you want to kill someone, you could kill them with your drone and go, disassemble your drone.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's what they're going to be used for, is for this police state rolling out right now. Hey, you don't have you're not vaccinated? Oh, send the drone over to your house and then,
Yeah, they can give you the shot.
yeah, drone shots.
Hmm.
Oh, they haven't come out with those yet, thank God. Or maybe they already
Well, that
have
we
them.
know of.
Yeah, that we know of, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's so crazy.
And I mean, I lost my DARPA page and stuff that I used to kind of hit on. It's all on my big computer, but I have backups, but I didn't label them. Now I have to go through all my backups because I don't know where anything is. Crazy, but and then what about, how do you feel about this? About Janet Napolitano being one of the top picks for our attorney general. Was this all by design?
What did you actually literally like see that in an article? Because that was just like speculation.
No,
Um,
she was in the top 10 or whatever, top 10, her and Emmanuel, and they didn't list the rest, but they are up there in the ones that they got to pick from.
we do not need those people back in office, especially Rahm Emanuel, dual citizen with Israel. We don't need him, and we don't need Manet either. She's
Oh man.
a dual lesbian, or whatever the hell you want to call it. We don't
Yeah.
need that crap. We don't
Now,
need them.
he was saying that he would continue with the job until they found someone else. So I wonder how soon that's going to happen. And is that uh do they have to get approved for those? Do they have to go
Yes.
through?
Oh,
They do
absolutely.
for
They've got a
attorney
huge.
general.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But
Congress
then
has
since she's already been head of Homeland Security, I was just wondering
to
if maybe,
fast tracker.
man,
They can
I,
totally fast track that position if they want to.
it will give see something, say something, a whole new thing. In California now they're offering an app where you can turn people. You don't even have to call. There's an app where you can turn people in if you think they're using too much water.
Yeah, that's insane. I saw that.
Yeah. So what's the next step if Janet gets back in there and she wanted to see something, say something? Well, there'll be an app for that too, where you will be completely anonymous. That'll make it way easier for somebody who's mad at you to
Oh, heck
turn you in.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it doesn't even have to do with water, you know? And you get
Hmm.
pissed off at your loved one or whatever, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend and whatever. I mean, turn them in.
Yep.
That oh man, and it's just the nanny state. It's
It's scary. I mean, and I don't know. Every time you go outside and you're doing anything, you're wondering, well, I wonder who's watching me. Or I've started doing that. I mean, sometimes I'll be outside and just sitting there and looking across the field, and there's an apartment building over there, and I thought, wow, you don't know. You don't know what somebody might think is suspicious. You don't
sure,
know,
sure.
what they're making up in their minds about you.
Oh, absolutely. And they're just teaching people to live in this kind of a police state. It'd be
Right.
suspicious of everybody and everything. Um,
And you're a hero, man, if you catch that ISIS guy next door,
right.
you know. And like here, our hotline, I mean, you get rewarded for the call in and snitch. If they make an arrest, you get big bucks.
Yeah, see? That's what it is. That's it's kind of like the same thing with the
Repair.
$500 or the $500 or the $50 Walmart gift certificate for turning in your gun.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that crap.
Or how about, some of the people that come into your home that you think are benign, like your phone repairman or any kind of repairman or power company or AT&T comes in to fix your phone. Some of them get paid up to $200 for turning people in. So
Yeah,
they're always looking around. I mean, when the AT&T guy came, we're going through the house going, what could be taken for something else?
right.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and you think, you allow them in your home, you're not thinking that they're there to spy on you, but they do. They can make a lot of money turning people in for whatever reason.
Yeah, they got truckers looking out for people, looking out for suspicious drivers as well on the streets, on
Hmm.
the
Or
highways.
Yeah, the Brady alert out there that says if you see someone driving erratically, call 911.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's constant. Turn someone in. Watch for this. Watch for that. Be the good guy. Ruin somebody's life because you know better than them. They swerved a little bit to grab, something that spilled, and you call and say they're drunk driving. So, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Jules found it. Week after Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. announced plans to step down, three administration's insiders led the president's short list to replace him, according to sources inside and outside the White House. Solicitor General Donald B. Oh, people are moving it too fast. I can't keep up. But let's see. Administrator case for the Affordable Care Act before Supreme Court is mentioned more frequently than the other top candidates. So maybe Janet's out.
Oh
But
God, we hope so. Oh, I
I
hope,
don't know.
and
Anyone is
hopefully
good.
Rahm Emanuel's out too.
Oh,
God,
God, yeah.
man, I can't deal with those two. Ugh.
Thank you, Jules.
Yes, thank you, Jules. Jules is awesome.
But you know what? In a way, I would be glad to get rid of Janet. She's in my state, in charge of all the education of, the universities here. So I wouldn't mind losing her. Let
Yeah,
everybody deal
well,
with her
you don't want to
senators.
know where the hell she's gonna turn up if that's the case. I mean, she only nearly just got that. She's only had that job for like what, a year,
Yeah.
maybe?
And why? She has no experience in education.
Mm-hmm.
And we're providing her a beautiful home
Oh, I'm
that we're
sure.
paying for,
Oh, yes.
and she's getting a huge salary. And I want,
Just makes me want to puke.
that's all universities are anymore. It's just like this high school they have here. Gates has it. He built it, and only the smartest students get to go there. And what is that? It's just like so they got the pickings. We put you through high school, now you have to come in and work for us.
That's right.
Yep. And the kids are going for it because they get a big allowance for going there too.
Mm-hmm.
They all drive brand new cars.
Bribery.
Yep. Yeah.
The worst kind of level. And kids are always going to go for that kind of stuff. High schoolers, heck yeah. They're looking for a free ride, man.
Well, yeah, and especially these are all geeks, computer geeks
Mm-hmm.
and that way you get the brightest kids right out of the assembly line.
Right, right. That's pretty much
And
it.
and everybody was so I think it's been here now, God, going on 7 years. And it's a real honor if your kid goes there. But man, people should think, what are they going to use your kid for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to be good either, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's just like the military. You sign an agreement to go there, and I'm sure I've never seen the agreement, but I'm sure it has some clause in there where you have to go work for Microsoft for so long, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Take the
yeah.
brightest minds and then use them. That's what's so sickening too. They use these young minds and they're so wrapped up in what they're doing that they don't see the outside of the fact that they're being used.
Right, right.
And that's so sad.
It's because everything is so compartmentalized that, and a lot of people can't wrap their mind around how bad this all is.
Right, DARPA never would have made the progress that they have made in nanotechnology or any of this without using these college students.
That's right. That's right. They go in and actively recruit at
Or
these.
use them while they're in school. So many of these universities are working on projects that we have no clue as to what they are.
Oh,
You know?
sure.
And the nanotechnology, I mean, that would never have progressed as fast as it did without the universities. And kids are paying to be used. You pay these high fees to go to school, and you're just being used.
Yep, most people don't see it that way. Most people just see the big car, big house, and they don't even really look much beyond that aspect of it. You start
And they
raking
make
in the big
contests.
bucks.
Yeah, and then they involve them in all these contests, like who can build the best robot and who can
Yup.
make the most advances in this and that, and it
Hmm.
then they make it competitive.
Yeah, they make it competitive, and they like literally exploit the minds of these really young, um, you know, tech heads, and they don't even realize that they're making the devices of their own enslavement.
Hmm. Yeah. Welcome to the sci-fi world.
Absolutely. A lot of them have no problem with what they're doing.
I know, yeah, and if you think back, just think of some of the shows we watch. You know, the Jetsons. It's a cartoon, but now it's almost reality, and you just go, "Oh my God!" You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, that was the world of the future. I liked the Jetsons. I thought it was cool. I remember that show, that cartoon growing up,
I do too.
and now it's here, just about pretty much.
Yeah, oh yeah. Except for the flying cars and all that crap,
But we're
but
getting close to that too. They're talking about,
yeah, yeah,
I
the
mean,
self-driving car.
yeah, there you go. And then next up, so, and if you were a Star Trek fan like I was, I mean, they're communicators and all these things that you're looking at now going, oh my God, it's just,
This this is kind of weird.
what?
Speaking of cartoons, I mean, this is kind of way off the topic that we were just talking about, so I'm
That's
gonna
okay.
derail a little
It's
bit.
Monday. We derail a lot.
Yeah, Jules isn't here as the anchor, so we're just kind of flapping our butts in the breeze here, guys. But that's okay. I
Yeah,
mean, it's fine, really. Um, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't read this, but it's just bizarre. It just struck me as really, really weird.
read it.
It says this is the first weekend in America with no Saturday morning cartoons. Saturday morning American broadcast TV was once animation's home field, filling a bowl with artificially colored sugar pebbles and staring at the tube was every kid's weekend plan. Not anymore. For the first time in 50 plus years, you won't find a block of animation on broadcast this morning. It's an end of an era. Yes, the CW, the final holdout in Saturday morning animation, ran its last batch of Vortex cartoons last weekend. This week, um, where you once saw shows like Cubic, Sonic X, Dragon Ball Z, and Kai, Digimon, Fusion, and Yu-Gi-Oh! You'll instead find one magnificent morning a block of live action educational programming. So apparently they are not showing Saturday morning cartoons anymore, guys.
Wow, that's a biggie.
Isn't
I
that
mean,
weird? It
that's
struck me
really
as
strange.
very, very strange. Um,
What?
but
Where'd you find
it
that article?
it is in. Let me find the publication Gizmodo.com.
You want to put the link in there because I mean, we've trained people to use the TV as a babysitter, right?
Yeah.
And then we had cartoons for them, and they kept their attention. And now that we've got them very well adapted to it, now we start doing educational. And what kind of education? It was a babysitter. You're not in there while they're watching this, so you have no idea what they're educating your kids to.
Right. Well, it says what killed Saturday morning cartoons, cable streaming, and the FCC. Oh, so the FCC has a big old hand in this little plot and scheme here. Um, in the 1990s, the FCC began more strictly enforcing its rule requiring broadcast networks to provide a minimum of 3 hours of quote educational programming every week. Networks afraid of messing with their primetime slots found it easiest to cram this required programming in the weekend morning slot. The actual educational content of this live action programming is sometimes debatable, but it meets the letter of the law. But more importantly, with hundreds of cable and satellite channels to choose from, um, that don't have to abide by the FCC's guidelines, kids these days can get their animation fix any day of the week. With the rise of cable and satellite, advertisers no longer had to cram all their kid-aimed commercials into 4-hour Sunday morning block. When the money left Saturday mornings, so did the cartoons. Add in mobile streaming from Netflix and Hulu and the like, and you'll realize that the spoiled brats we're raising today don't even need to dash to the TV in time to catch the opening credits. They can just watch whatever they want whenever they want. So,
Wow.
yeah,
And
that's
so that it's not enough that we brainwash them all week in school, then we are doing it on weekends also, too.
oh yeah, well, basically whenever they want. Because I mean, that's what I see. I see like little toddlers running around with iPads watching the
Hmm.
cartoons on the iPads. There's no need for it anymore, really.
Yeah, people give their
So,
kids their phones all the time to play games on, to get them adapted.
yeah. Yup. All right, so where do you want me to post that? Into the
Uh,
chat room?
yeah, in the chat room, because that, to me, that's a biggie. I mean, the state owns your kids anyway, but man, they want their minds completely. They want
Hmm.
control of their mind. And it's a form of brainwashing. We all know it's a flicker rate in there, and that's why babies get irritable and stuff, because real life is a lot slower than that flicker rate that they get used to
That's right.
watching the cartoons.
That's right.
Wow.
Well, actually, that's not true. Real life has got your brain works faster. What those flicker rates do is slow down your brain activity.
Oh, is it
So,
that?
yes, it's
It had
definitely
everything
that.
to do with the flicker rate.
Well, the flicker rate slows down the rate of brain activity so that suggestions can more easily
Oh,
be
that's right.
plantable.
That
And when you're
right.
playing a video game, the rate of brain activity goes even lower with
Yeah, because
video
they could
games.
talk to your subconscious, right?
Right.
I mean, by 6 months, they say by 6 months old, babies can tell one brand from another.
Yeah. I
You know,
mean, oh sure. Sure, absolutely. And they'll it's because of the TV. If
hmm
you got a kid that doesn't ever watch TV, they're never gonna, be able to tell anything like that, any brand from another. But it's
and if
because of the TV
yeah,
that's
and they say people who watch TV on a regular basis go into that hypnotic state like within seconds of the TV being put on, and someone who doesn't, like me, I don't own a TV anymore. It would take up to 45 minutes to get me into that state. You know,
I don't know,
it,
about 45 minutes. It seems like it would be an awful lot less.
they say for someone who does not watch TV at all, it
Mm,
takes that much longer. And if you notice, I mean, I've gone over to people's houses and you try and talk to them when they're watching TV and they're like zombies. They don't hear you.
sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
they want to completely um they want to keep us in that stupid state, man.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
boy.
Attack from everywhere. I want to go dig a cave, go hide in a cave with all my little necessities of life and then cut the rest out. But they're even making that hard. It's hard to go off the grid anymore.
Oh my God, here's the Satanists. I might as well, since I just read such a dumb article, stay with the dumb articles here.
Okay. I agree.
um,
I'm ready.
Satanic books are handed out to kids after religious freedom ruling, and this little booklet is called "The Satanic Children's Big Book of Activities," and it's got a bunch of gumpy-looking dumbasses on there with Baphomet on their T-shirts.
You're kidding me.
No, it's just It's a freaking joke. It's a joke on us. All right, it says the Satanic Temple has responded to an Orange County, Florida decision to disseminate religious materials in public school by creating complementary materials that espouse the philosophy and satanic practice of Satanism. Last month, a Florida judge ruled that if the Orange County School District allowed Christian groups to disseminate Bibles and Christian oriented religious materials in its schools, it would also have to allow the atheist groups to do the same. Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Atheist doesn't mean that you believe in the devil.
Right,
I mean,
right. Yeah,
not
that
the
doesn't make
devil.
any sense whatsoever. That last sentence didn't
Right.
make sense. David Williamson of the Central Florida Free Thought community, who recently fought against Brevard County's attempt to ban atheists from offering invocations at public meetings, sued the district over its initial willingness to allow atheist literature with titles like Jesus is Dead and Why I'm Not a Muslim in the schools.
Oh my God.
God, man, that is just absolutely nuts. Um, Hang on, this is from like the Raw story, so, and, I've got to, yikes.
This is crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's idiocy.
and
Um,
what is it? They burned down Waco because they said they were a cult. Now you're breeding them in schools.
right, exactly. A judge dismissed that case after the school board decided to allow the materials. The Satanic Temple took advantage of this decision, deciding to flood Orange County schools with a pamphlet entitled The Satanic Children's Big Book of Activities that contains kid-friendly satanic lessons. These bullies, or it says, quote, in, I guess it's a little excerpt from the little booklet. These bullies are mad and afraid of things they don't understand. The instructions on the word jumble reads, help Damien use inclusive language to diffuse the situation.
What? And this went into all the schools?
Yeah, well, in Florida, there was, in just this one county.
Yeah, but then goes
Florida.
to another county and another. Oh man.
Says the spokesman for the Satanic Temple, Lucian Greaves, yeah, I've heard this asshole's name before, explained that his organization would never seek to establish a precedent of disseminating our religious materials in public schools because we believe our constitutional values are better served by respecting a strong separation of church and state. What?
What happened to protecting the children?
Well,
Is
they
that what this like? It's just that is ridiculous.
it says, however, he continued, if a public school board is going to allow religious pamphlets full of Bibles to be distributed to students, as in the case of Orange County, Florida, we think the responsible thing to do is to ensure that these students are given access to a variety of differing religious opinions and opposed to standing idly by while one religious voice dominates the disclosure and delivers propaganda to the youth. The Satanic Temple made headlines earlier when it successfully petitioned the state of Oklahoma to allow it to erect a goat-headed Baphomet statue adjacent to a display of the Ten Commandments. Yeah, that's where I've heard this fool's name before. Greaves made it clear that in both cases his organization is only responding to provocations by the Christian community, even as we prefer public policies respecting secularism, we feel that opportunities such as this to establish an equal voice for contrasting religious opinions in the public square tend to favor marginalized, lesser known, and alternative religions, he said. I'm quite certain that all the children in these Florida schools are already aware of the Christian religion and its Bible. This might be the first exposure these children have to an actual the actual practice of Satanism, we think many students will be very curious to see what we have to offer. So here's the Satanist recruiting in our schools
Well, we're
now.
going to have human sacrifices in elementary school.
Yeah, child sacrifices on an altar is perfectly good if there's like also a Bible being pushed in the school. So here we go, guys. There's the moral fabric completely, and they're just saying, oh, because it's, it's free speech either way, even though it's they
You
pride
know what? They
themselves.
need to get rid of that judge, for one thing.
Yeah, even though they pride themselves supposedly on the separation of church and state. Here we go. They're flooding their the schools with their crap. I mean, I don't know.
What
This is
what
just
parent would want their child to be exposed to this? I mean, who, and you can't take your kid out of school. They're making it harder and harder. They're looking more and more in the home schooling, trying to ban it everywhere.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're absolutely. Whoa! Guess what? It's the end of the show. I can't
Wow.
believe it already.
Man,
So
this is out of hand. These things, it's just like when Jules brought up that one where they had these two girls in the front of 8th grade, in front of a class, role playing as lesbians.
right.
Come on.
Yeah, this is designed to get people to, have more arguments
And
and
remember that
more
guy
debates.
Jones that made it up into government that thought sex with children was okay, and then they got rid of him. But remember that was a while back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Hmm.
and like I said last week even, you had that Antonin Scalia sitting on the Supreme Court justice saying
Yeah.
orgies are a great thing. So,
Hmm.
yeah, don't forget about any of that.
And that one university where you had to fill out a form and they you had to tell them about your threesomes and orgies and you
Right.
know come on, this is just out of hand,
We
people.
talked about that last week,
Hmm.
absolutely. Well, here we
Well,
go. Here we are at the end of a Monday. Oh my God. Um,
yay, Monday's over.
yeah, Monday's over. Oh my God. All right. Well, stay tuned to all the great programming on UCY.TV, guys. We've got at 1 o'clock is The Edge with John Stokes, and then at 3 is the Jack Blood Show. And let's see, and the rest are, we've got 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, guys, is Truth on the Tracks with Brandon Turvaville. Don't miss that. He's always got something wonderful that he's talking about. And at 10 o'clock is United Front Radio with Daniela and Kyle. And then at 11, we've got Anti-Media Radio with Nick Barnaby. So there's a lot of good shows coming up here today. Thanks, Zorie, for being with me this morning. And
You.
I'm hoping Jules will be back sometime tomorrow or maybe the next day. And we are looking forward to talking with her, as always.
Mhm. So have a great day, guys, and smile. Enjoy your day.
Take care, everybody.